Long ago, there lived an old man with his 3 sons in a deserted village, located in the vicinity of a desert. He had 17 camels, and they were the main source of his income. He used to rent out camels as a means of shipping in the desert. One day, he passed away. He had left a will, leaving his assets for his 3 sons. After the funeral and the other obligations were over, the 3 sons read the will. While their father had divided all the property he had into 3 equal parts, he had divided the 17 camels in a different way. They were not shared equally among the 3, as 17 is an odd number and a prime number, which cannot be divided. The old man had stated that the eldest son will own half of the 17 camels, the middle one will get 1/3 of the 17 camels, and the youngest one will get his share of camels as 1/9. All of them were stunned to read the will and questioned each other how to divide the 17 camels as mentioned in the will. It is not possible to divide 17 camels and give half of the 17 camels to the eldest one. It is not possible also to divide the camels for the other 2 sons. They spent several days thinking of ways to divide the camels as mentioned in the will, but none could find the answer. They finally took the issue to the wise man in their village. The wise man heard the problem and instantly found a solution. He asked them to bring all the 17 camels to him. The sons brought the camels to the wise man's place. The wise man added a camel owned by him and made the total number of camels 18. Now, he asked the first son to read the will. As per the will, the eldest son got half the camels, which now counted to 18, to 9 camels. The eldest one got 9 camels as his share. The remaining camels were 9. The wise man asked the second son to read the will. He was assigned 1/3 of the total camels. It came to 18, 6 camels. The second son got 6 camels as his share. Total number of camels shared by the elder sons, 9 plus 6 15 camels. The third son read out his share of camels, 1/9 of the total number of camels, 18, 9 2 camels. The youngest one got 2 camels as his share. Totally there were 9 plus 6 plus 2 camels shared by the brothers, which counted to 17 camels. Now, the 1 camel added by the wise man was taken back. The wise man solved this problem smartly with his intelligence. Intelligence is nothing but finding a common ground to solve an issue. In short, every problem has a solution. Sam and Tom were identical twins. They were so identical that even their mother found it difficult to distinguish one from the other, at least during their initial days on Earth. However, they were very different from each other when it came to everything other than their appearance. Sam had no friends, while Tom was a great friendship maker. Sam loved sweets, but Tom loved spicy food and detested sweets. Sam was Mommy's pet and Tom was Daddy's pet. While Sam was generous and selfless, Tom was greedy and selfish. As Sam and Tom grew up, their father wanted to share his fortune equally amongst them. However, Tom did not agree and he argued that whoever proved to be more intelligent and strong would have to get a bigger share of the wealth. Sam agreed. Their father decided to organize a competition between the two. He asked the 2 sons to walk as long as they could, and return home before sunset. The wealth would be divided in proportion to the distance covered. As a rule of the competition, they were not permitted to carry a watch to keep track of the time. The following day, Sam and Tom set out to walk. It was a rather sunny day. Sam walked slowly and steadily, while Tom broke into a sprint as he was bent on winning the race and also winning a greater portion of his father's wealth. Sam knew that it would be ideal to walk as far as possible till noon and start for home at noon, as it would take the same amount of time to walk back home. Knowing this, Sam decided to turn back for home at noon so as reach home on time. However, Tom, with his greed to earn more wealth, did not attempt to return home even after mid-noon. He walked twice as long as Sam, and thought he would still be able to return home before sunset. He hurried back when he saw the sun turn orange. Unfortunately, he could not even make it halfway home as the sun started to set. Slowly darkness engulfed his path and he had to drag his tired feet back. He had lost the race. Only because of his greed. Greed leads to loss. Bunny Rabbit lived in the forest. He had many friends. He was proud of his friends. One day Bunny Rabbit heard the loud barking of wild dogs. He was very scared. He decided to ask for help. He quickly went to his friend Deer. He said, "Dear friend, some wild dogs are chasing me. Can you chase them away with your sharp antlers?" The deer said, "That is right, I can. But now I am busy." "Why don't you ask Bear for help?" Bunny Rabbit ran to the bear. "My dear friend, you are very strong. Please help me. Some wild dogs are after me. Please chase them away," he requested to the bear. The bear replied, "I am sorry. I am hungry and tired. I need to find some food. Please ask the monkey for help." Poor Bunny went to the monkey, the elephant, the goat and all his other friends. Bunny felt sad that nobody was ready to help him. He understood that he had to think of a way out by himself. He hid under a bush. He lay very still. The wild dogs did not find the bunny. They went chasing other animals. Bunny Rabbit learnt that he had to learn to survive by himself, not depending on his unhelpful friends. Moral: it is better to rely on yourself than depend on others. Long ago, people lived happily under the rule of a king. The people of the kingdom were very happy as they led a very prosperous life with an abundance of wealth and no misfortunes. Once, the king decided to go visiting places of historical importance and pilgrim centers at distant places. He decided to travel by foot to interact with his people. People of distant places were very happy to have a conversation with their king. They were proud that their king had a kind heart. After several weeks of travel, the king returned to the palace. He was quite happy that he had visited many pilgrim centers and witnessed his people leading a prosperous life. However, he had one regret. He had intolerable pain in his feet as it was his first trip by foot covering a long distance. He complained to his ministers that the roads weren't comfortable and that they were very stony. He could not tolerate the pain. He said that he was very much worried about the people who had to walk along those roads as it would be painful for them too. Considering all this, he ordered his servants to cover the roads in the whole country with leather so that the people of his kingdom can walk comfortably. The king's ministers were stunned to hear his order as it would mean that thousands of cows would have to be slaughtered in order to get sufficient quantity of leather. And it would cost a huge amount of money also. Finally, a wise man from the ministry came to the king and said that he had another idea. The king asked what the alternative was. The minister said, "Instead of covering the roads with leather, why don't you just have a piece of leather cut in appropriate shape to cover your feet?" The king was very much surprised by his suggestion and applauded the wisdom of the minister. He ordered a pair of leather shoes for himself and requested all his countrymen also to wear shoes. Moral: instead of trying to change the world, we should try to change ourselves. One beautiful spring morning, a merchant loaded his donkey with bags of salt to go to the market, in order to sell the salt. The merchant and his donkey were walking along together. They had not walked far when they reached a river on the way. Unfortunately, the donkey slipped and fell into the river. As it scrambled up the bank of the river, it noticed that the bags of salt loaded on his back had become lighter. There was nothing the merchant could do except return home, where he loaded his donkey with more bags of salt. As they reached the slippery riverbank again, the donkey fell into the river, this time deliberately. Thus the salt was wasted again. By now the merchant knew the donkey's trick. He wanted to teach the animal a lesson. As he returned home the second time with the donkey, the merchant loaded bags of sponges on its back. The duo set out on their trip to the market a third time. On reaching the river, the donkey very cleverly fell into the water again. But now, instead of the load becoming lighter, it became heavier. The merchant laughed at the donkey and said, "You foolish donkey, your trick has been discovered. You should know that you cannot fool anyone too many times."